What's up, guys? What's going on? Hope you're all doing well. It's Thursday at 5:05. Just got out. Good day of work. I'm gonna leave that there. Yeah, so it's 5 o'clock. It's not 4:30 like the last one, so unfortunately it's gonna be a little bit darker of a video. But hopefully, as always, traffic isn't too bad. I know these videos have, or at least I've noticed this week that these videos have been on the longer side. You know, we had an hour plus, and then I think yesterday's video was like something like 33 minutes, something like that. So we'll see how this one comes out. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, Thursday, we're on the edge of rolling into Friday now. Turn some lights on. Yeah, there you go. And then also on the edge of the weekend as well. So that's cool. And yeah. So I was kind of thinking about what to talk about today. As kind of with the trend of this week, there wasn't really anything too major that jumped out to me, but I had a few things, a few ideas to throw you guys today, see what happens. But yeah, so one of the reasons that I say it gets easier from here, or that, you know, we're almost into the weekend, we're so close, you know, and all that kind of stuff. A big part of that is kind of what happened this morning concerning, really, well, me. So I know I've mentioned it a few times before, but if you haven't heard me say it, at least, I'll say it again. So and this is just me, I'm going to talk about me for a few minutes, if that's all right. But what I like to do with my kind of daily routine is, you know, Monday through Friday, I'd wake up very early and I exercise. And so what my normal week looks like is on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll wake up early and I'll go to the gym, and I'll get a good workout in. I don't take too long. I'm in and out in like around about an hour, give or take. So that's what I do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then on those Tuesday, Thursday days, on those days in between, what I do is I go on runs. And I definitely prefer, it's always good, I should say first, that it's always good to, you know, switch things up, you know, every day and do different things. But I definitely prefer just going to the gym and being able to, you know, take like a slow pace and sit around and you know, just do your thing at the gym rather than, you know, running, where even though I've gotten a lot better at running, it is something that at times can be very unenjoyable, to say the least. And then also what I do with my running, kind of similar to, like, you know, as you keep working out at the gym, you begin to, you know, add more weight to whatever exercises you do, generally speaking. What I do with my running on Tuesdays and Thursdays is over time I'd slowly just kind of up the mileage. Normally I'll wait like 2 weeks before I up the mileage. Sometimes I'm feeling really good and I wait a week. Sometimes I just, the next time I run, I up the mileage. It's really just based off feel, and yeah, so that's what I do. And so I'm at a point now with the runs where they're going to be pretty long, and and they're, the runs are getting longer, and the mornings are getting darker and colder. And really what I'm trying to say is the runs are becoming less and less fun. As time, I'm getting better and better, but the runs are getting kind of less enjoyable, at least as of now. And so, with Tuesdays, I'm normally like jacked up enough to get out of bed and just attack the run as best I can. But Thursdays is kind of always my hardest workout of the week, compared to all the other stuff I do throughout the week. Thursdays are normally the hardest workout, not only just because it's starting to get to that point in the week where the workouts, and especially like Tuesday's run, are still catching up with me and having a little effect on my body, but also just mentally, like that's always like the hardest workout to do. I have to do pretty much the same tough run on Tuesday, but just do it again, and where my body's in not as good as shape, and my mind and my mentality isn't as good of shape as well. And so it's always a lot more of a struggle. But with all that stuff, it's always cool, because when I do eventually finish my run on Thursday, I get such a feeling of relief. And honestly, the sense of pleasure I get post run is just nothing short of amazing. And like all that keeps flowing in my head, like after I finish that run on Thursday, is like, oh, like that was like the hardest thing you had to do all week. It's so much easier from here. Like everything you do, from right now until Monday is gonna be like a freaking slice of cake. Like it's gonna be so easy. Like, and it's a really cool feeling. And honestly, that's kind of what keeps me doing what I do concerning all this workout and exercise stuff. That's why I keep pushing the pace and upping the mileage, and really forcing myself to go out there and embrace the dark and the cold and any other unideal conditions. And just a side note too, again, I mentioned in yesterday's video that like there's a bunch of wildfires going on in my general area, and air quality hasn't been the greatest. And so I knew that this morning was gonna be of course dark, but also like noticeably colder than it has recently. And again, it makes runs less fun. And so what I was honestly, to be totally transparent with you guys, I was honestly kind of bagging on the air quality to be like pretty low, because I'm lucky enough to have a treadmill in the basement of my house that honestly I've used, I don't know, once, maybe twice. But I was honestly trying to bag on the air quality not being too great, so I could stay inside, stay warm, and just crank out however many miles I needed to on the treadmill in my own home. I didn't have to embrace the cold and the dark and run up and down all these hills. I could just stay in my house and stay warm and stay close and stay flat and just do my thing from there. But unfortunately, I checked my phone when I woke up, and surprisingly, to my surprise, the air quality was not bad at all. And so, while that's great to hear for the environment and, all that, in my mind I was like, now I have absolutely no excuse and no reason whatsoever to, stay inside and be soft in my mind. So I was a little disappointed, as ironic and kind of as humorous as it is. I was a little disappointed to find that the air quality was very good today. And so then, I forced myself to layer up and go through my whole routine and whole run of the morning and all that stuff. And, it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do in the very moment, to, you know, do my whole run outside in the dark rather than inside in my own home. But I was very happy that the way everything worked out, because, well, one, I pushed myself physically and mentally, you know, during the run, and really when you do that, when you have the option of having the easy way out, but you still take, you know, the harder path. I'm not saying it's the most ideal thing in every aspect of your life, you know, but at least for me, concerning exercise and working out, I always get so much more pleasure and so much more satisfaction and really just so much more of a high when I voluntarily take the harder path, the more difficult journey or workout, or, you know, whatever it is you want to call it. So that's my little message, my little spiel concerning all that. So yeah, maybe you'll go on a run outside in the dark, cold tomorrow. I don't know, but this is just a piece of my mind that I'm giving you with all that stuff. And yeah, you know, it's kind of funny just talking about exercise and stuff. It reminds me of sports, and you know, what a lot of people do after college is, you know, to help them stay fit, they'll join like sports leagues, and they'll do this like competition stuff with like other people. And it's kind of funny, because with me and my whole college experience, and, you know, playing lacrosse and playing this sport in college, and really just giving absolutely everything I had to this sport, it really did, like, I genuinely put my very best foot forward over the course of, you know, the last 4 years of my playing career in college, and I really squeezed out every bit of hard work and grind and competitiveness and all that stuff. And so now, while I'm very proud to say that, you know, if there ever comes a time where, you know, I have to work hard and be competitive and grind out something and be gritty, like, I have no problem doing that at all. I'm very good at it, if that. But now what happens is I try to shy away from it as much as possible. You know, I've had my fun with all that stuff. I've done my due diligence, and I much just now prefer like as little competition with others as possible. And again, because, you know, one, I've had my fun and my fair share with all that, and two, it's like, and again, this is something I mentioned in a previous video, but you know, with playing sports in college, you learn what is and what isn't important at the end of the day, and you learn what to be competitive with and what to work hard at and care a lot about, and what not to. And for me, what matters a lot more to me is more of being competitive with myself rather than being competitive with others. Like, for example, with, say, my workouts and my runs, like, I'm always trying to have a better workout or a better run than I did the last time, and always trying to up the weight, up the mileage, up the pace, up the intensity, you know, just up the progress, really, and be competitive with my past self. And say, for example, if I'm playing like a competitive sport with other people, where, you know, outside people are involved, I will never after, you know, playing a sport at college, you know, like the highest level that I was able to achieve for 4 years, I will never be that guy who gets all worked up and really all negative and whatever other word you want to use to describe. We all know, you know, those people, and maybe, you know, we're one of them that we don't realize, but I'll never be that kind of person to become overly competitive or overly aggressive, or really just I would just never be that guy. Again, I just much prefer what I've realized. I've much preferred to just, compete with myself rather than other people. So, I think it would be cool to, one day, say, run a marathon, and, in a way you're kind of competing with others. I think that would be cool for sure, but at least when it comes to, say, doing like a pickup basketball league or like softball league or even just like a men's lacrosse league, I honestly might shy away from it because, again, I've had my fun with all that competition, and I'm just not that person anymore to kind of lose my mind with all that stuff and be that guy. So yeah, that's just a little more about me. Now you know a little bit more about me and my peace of mind with all that stuff. So yeah, and plus, like also just tying back to one more thing in previous videos, but just holding yourself as the number one priority in any and all things in life. So again, when it comes to competition and working hard and being competitive and all that kind of stuff, prioritize yourself first. Be competitive with yourself. Work hard on yourself. Worry about yourself. Care a lot about yourself, before you do so with, say, other people or other things. Again, you just have to, in every aspect of your life, hold yourself as the number one priority, the number one focus of all things. I think that more people could benefit from that kind of stuff. Because I just feel like sometimes people, they worry and they honestly kind of care, and they try to influence, I guess, things outside of themselves, whether they're outside events or outside people or really just outside situations or circumstances. They always try to worry more about that stuff than they actually do themselves. They're kind of going too big too fast in a way, when really they have to take a step back and start out small. Say, before you worry about the current condition of the economy, the country, the world, before you worry about that stuff, worry about you and how you're doing and how you're living and how you can live better. Because how are you supposed to change the world if you can't change yourself? How are you supposed to help out the world and everyone around you if you first can't help out yourself? How are you supposed to grow humanity if you first can't grow yourself and your own soul? I hope you know the point that I'm trying to make with this, but you have to, again, you just have to hold yourself on a priority more and hold yourself as the number one in any and all things in life, because that's really kind of the truth to it all, at least for me. I think we're all searching for our own truths at the end of the day, and it's a big part of all of our lives, whether we realize it or not. And I think that is just one truth that I've begun to realize of many. And yeah, I just want to share it with you. And you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but either way, you at least listened and gave your energy to what I said, and you're able to learn and to come to new conclusions and new ideas and chains of thought. So again, it's all just good stuff at the end of the day, but yeah, before you think big, we should always all think big, by the way. We should all think big and try to have as big of a positive impact outside of ourselves as possible, but before we think big, we have to think small, and before we act big, we have to act small, and before we do big, we have to do small. And really what that means is we all just have to start with ourselves before we do anything outside of that. You know, as you help yourself more and grow more as an individual, you can do the same thing, you know, externally. But it all just starts with focusing on yourself and worrying about yourself and caring about yourself and growing yourself. That's what it all starts with. So yeah, I think that's a good message to share. And there's another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about in this video leading up to it. So it's crazy because it's not even December yet. It's, you know, nearing the end, or not even that. It's like mid-November, if I'm correct. It's mid-November, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm already getting asked about, you know, making Christmas lists. For me, it's too early, but I'm doing my best to, you know, make my lists and give them out and all that stuff. But what I've started to think about, you know, doing all this Christmas list stuff now in the middle of November is it's kind of interesting because it contradicts a lot with, you know, what I've been saying and some messages that I've been preaching to you guys of, you know, always focus more on the things that you have rather than the things that you want, you know, for many reasons. But just that general message to you guys. And now, you know, here I am trying to pick my brain about the things that I want and focusing on that to, you know, put on a Christmas list and give that to the people who are asking. It's kind of funny because I'm finding that it interjects one another pretty polar oppositely. So kind of had to remind myself, like, hey, yes, I'm thinking about all these things that I want, and I'm asking for all these things that I simply want at the end of the day. So I had to remind myself, like, hey, just, you know, don't forget, just remember how much you already have, and just remember how much you have, and be grateful for it all, you know, because you really are truly blessed to have everything that you do. So, you know, don't forget it. During a time where we're asking and we're asking for all these things, and we're wanting all these things all the time, you know, almost pretty much in a time of want, really, you can't lose sight of everything that you already have. And so in a way, I guess the perfect Christmas list to give everyone who's asked me so far is nothing, is a blank Christmas list, is no Christmas list. Really, because, you know, of the fact that I have everything that I'll ever want and I'll ever need. And it's always been that way. It is that way currently, and it always will be that way. You know, but yeah, I think it's just kind of interesting times during the year. And, you know, maybe that'll make you think a little more about all this stuff. Again, if you couldn't tell, I'm a pretty deep thinker about a lot of things, you know, hence I started this channel. But, you know, there are thoughts that I think could help out you guys a lot, and I know that's something I've said quite a lot. But yeah, in this whole time of, you know, the holidays and giving gifts and receiving gifts, when people ask you what you want, before you know, say whatever you say or think whatever you think, just remind yourself that you have everything. You have so much, whether it's physical or, you know, non-physical. You really do have so much, and you have so much to be grateful for. And that's never going to change. It's only ever going to grow. So now, honestly, it makes kind of sense, say, when you ask your parents or your grandparents what they want for Christmas, and they say nothing. And then you're like, all right, well, that doesn't help me out at all. So you have to kind of think on your feet and get them what you think that they would most appreciate. But, you know, I'm beginning to understand more and more now why, you know, as people get older and older, they want less and less, say for Christmas. And it's because they realize that they have more and more than they originally thought when they were younger. And they're at the point where they feel nothing but having so many things, and so many things to be grateful for that there's no need to ask for anything anymore, you know, because they already have everything that they ever need. You know, they have food on their plates, clothes on their backs, a roof over their head, you know, people by their side. Like, you know, water in their glasses. Like, they really do have everything that they need at the end of the day to get by just fine and to live a really good life. And yeah, so when you ask them what they want for Christmas or their birthday or any other holiday or special day that I'm not mentioning, and they say nothing, you know, take a moment not to be a little annoyed at them in the best way possible, but you know, take a second to step back and to realize what exactly they mean when they say that they don't want anything, and appreciate it and learn from it and apply it to your own life. Because, you know, you really do have so much more than you think. And, you know, especially, again, we live in a big bubble here in the United States, and especially just when you look over at other countries, it's so easy to see that, you know, we have it so well, and that we just don't take it for granted, or I should say that we just take it for granted too often. So, don't. Plain and simple, don't take it all for granted. So yeah, with that, just got home, so I'm gonna end it all there. Just remember, there's a lot more to it than you think. As always, I hope you guys are doing well and will continue to do so. Don't hesitate for a second to, you know, reach out, ask me questions, give me your thoughts about anything. And yeah, we'll talk Monday. This is the last video of the week, so we'll talk Monday. Bye.